The unseen hands of Marlow Mansion. They say time forgets, but not here. Not at Marlow Mansion. Its walls remember, its shadows watch, and its secrets wait, hidden in the dark, where even the bravest dare not tread. Many have come seeking the truth of Marlow Mansion, some for riches, others for redemption, but all found only one thing, a fate they could never escape. To cross the threshold is to abandon reason. Here the past clings to the present, and the sins of the dead refuse to be buried. In the silence of Marlow Mansion, every step echoes louder, as if the house itself is listening, waiting, choosing who may rise and who will fall. Every family leaves behind memories, but in Marlow Mansion, memories are not left behind. They linger, fractured and broken, like the lives they once reflected. Once this room echoed with music and laughter. Now only silence reigns, but in the deepest stillness, something still listens. Marlow Mansion is a labyrinth of forgotten stories. Behind every door lies a secret, and some secrets are meant to stay locked. They say children are pure, untouched by darkness. But in Marlow Mansion, innocence is the first thing to vanish, leaving behind only echoes of broken lullabies. Knowledge is power, but in Marlow Mansion, knowledge comes with a price, and those who seek its hidden truths seldom survive the answers. Once feasts were held here. Now only shadows gather at the table. But even now, some still wait for dinner to be served. Beneath Marlow Mansion lies a place forgotten by time, a prison where the light of day has never reached. This place was never built for comfort or shelter. It was made for confinement. These walls have seen countless souls dragged into their depths, never to return. Chains that once held the wicked now hang empty, but their prisoners still remain. Their cries have long faded into silence, replaced by something far worse, the waiting. Here, hope is a memory, and mercy is a lie whispered by the dark. Faith was once a shield against the horrors of this world, but not here. In Marlow Mansion, even prayers rot in the air, unanswered and unheard. This place was abandoned by grace long ago, left to fester in its own cursed silence. The sacred turned profane. The holy became tainted, and the desperate sought salvation from powers that listened far too closely. Those who knelt here prayed for deliverance, but in this place the only answer is darkness, and a debt that must always be paid. There is a place for the dead, but in Marlow Mansion, the grave is not an ending, it's a threshold. These graves were dug not out of reverence, but as a desperate attempt to contain what should never have walked the earth. Here rest is a hollow promise. Souls buried in cursed soil do not sleep, they wait. Forgotten by the living, they linger, bound by unfinished business, unanswered vengeance, and eternal longing, and sometimes they rise. Nature is a force of life, but here even nature has turned against itself. The conservatory was once a place of beauty, where life flourished, but Marlow Mansion twisted that too. Vines that once brought flowers now strangle all they touch. Roots claw through stone like searching fingers, desperate to feed on anything living. And deep beneath the soil, something grows, something ancient, hungry and endless. Beware the flowers that bloom here. They thrive not on sunlight, but on secrets and blood. The attic where forgotten things are cast away, never meant to be seen again. But in Marlow Mansion, the forgotten refuse to stay hidden. Old memories cling to these objects like restless spirits, yearning to be remembered. Every broken toy, every discarded relic, tells a story of loss, regret, and betrayal. Some say the attic is the heart of the mansion's curse, where what was lost can never be found, and what should have been left behind still waits. Once the ballroom was filled with laughter, music, and swirling gowns. It was a place of celebration, of love, of life, but Marlow Mansion twisted even that. The dancers still glide across the floor, trapped in a perpetual waltz, bound by a song that will never end. They dance not for joy, but because they have no choice. And if you hear the music calling, beware. The mansion always seeks new partners for its eternal masquerade. The servants of Marlow Mansion lived in the shadows, unseen, unheard, and forgotten. They toiled beneath its cursed roof, bound by duty, or perhaps by something darker. Their lives were spent in service, their fates sealed by unseen masters who demanded loyalty and silence. They left behind no graves, no legacies, only whispers that crawl through the walls, desperate to be heard. And now, those who walk these forgotten halls become servants themselves, forever bound by unseen chains. The master of Marlow Mansion ruled from this room, believing himself untouchable, above consequence, above fate. But power built on secrets crumbles, and his secrets were darker than most. They say he vanished one stormy night, leaving only his empty clothes scattered across the floor, and his presence still lingering in the shadows. He watches still, trapped in the room where his deeds were done, waiting for someone to take his place. There was always a seat at the table in Marlow Mansion, but once you sat, you could never leave. They dined in luxury, unaware that the house itself was the true master of the feast. Every toast was a bargain, every meal a promise sealed by fate. Now the chairs remain filled, not by living guests, but by those trapped in an endless banquet of regret. And when the fire blazes without wood, it means the house is hungry once more. The mansion was never just stone and wood. It was something far older, far hungrier. Its walls pulse with dark intent, feeding on fear, regret, and hope. Those who enter believe they can escape, but the house chooses who stays and who falls. Every step deeper into its decaying halls is a step closer to surrender. For the unseen hands of Marlow Mansion never let go, and they are always reaching. This library was once a sanctuary for the curious, a place where the inquisitive could uncover the world's greatest secrets. But here, in the heart of Marlow Mansion, even knowledge is a curse. The books that remain are not the guides to enlightenment, but the keepers of darker truths, truths that should never be known. Every page, every word bears the imprint of those who sought more than they could understand, and now the books read themselves, in whispers that no one dares to hear. Not all doors should be opened. Some, like this one, were never meant to be discovered. The mansion's foundation is built on forgotten corridors, secret chambers where the house keeps its darkest secrets hidden. Behind this door lies something that no one has seen, something that should have stayed buried beneath the earth. But the walls are whispering, and the door is creaking. What's inside is desperate to be set free. The garden was meant to be a place of peace, a sanctuary for those who sought solace amidst the mansion's madness. But here, nothing grows without cost. The flowers that bloom are twisted, their beauty tainted by the poison of the land. The statues that once smiled now weep, as though they too were caught in the mansion's grip. Even the earth remembers the darkness that has seeped into its soil. This garden does not welcome life. It celebrates death. It is said that a man's last supper is the moment he faces his deepest fears. In Marlow Mansion, that meal is eternal. The table remains set for those who dare to dine, but they are no longer welcome. The goblet sits, waiting, its contents not wine, but something far more sinister. The mansion invites you to take a seat, but once you do, you are bound forever to its table, and no one has ever left the feast. No one. Some rooms in Marlow Mansion should never be entered. The air inside does not move. Its stillness is like the calm before a storm, and the darkness beyond the door is not just absence, but presence. It calls, beckons, even as it warns. The footsteps within are not those of the living, but of something that watches, waiting for the next soul foolish enough to cross its threshold. Here the mansion does not merely observe, it consumes. In the grand ballroom, the waltz never ends. The dancers, once filled with life, now spin forever, caught in a cycle of joy and terror. They are not dancing for pleasure, but for survival. For in Marlow Mansion, to stop moving is to become part of the floor, part of the walls, part of the darkness. And those who watch can never leave. The music may be silent, but the dance continues. Forever. The kitchen of Marlow Mansion is no place for the faint-hearted. It was here that the mansion's darkest secrets were cooked up. Not meals, but rituals. The pots once filled with hearty stews now simmer with something far more sinister. The stove has long been abandoned, but the fire never goes out. It burns for those who have crossed into the house's true depths, promising warmth only to consume them in the end. The kitchen has no need for food. Its hunger is eternal, and its appetite is insatiable. The carriage house was once a symbol of wealth and transportation, the place where travelers came to rest before continuing their journey. But in Marlow Mansion, nothing leaves. The horses have long since been replaced by shadows, and the carriages no longer carry passengers. The place is now a waiting room, a resting place for those whose journey ended here. Not in death, but in something worse. And the figure at the back of the barn? They are always waiting for the next soul to wander too far. The tower, tall, imposing, and silent, holds many of Marlow Mansion's most terrible secrets. Few have ventured up this high, and even fewer have returned. The higher you climb, the thinner the air becomes, and the more the weight of the mansion presses down on your soul. The light that flickers at the top is not an invitation, it is a warning. The tower is not just a place of height, it is a place of reckoning. And in its peak, you will find the mansion's heart, a pulsating, malevolent force that has never stopped beating. In Marlow Mansion, death is not the end, it is only the beginning. This garden, long neglected, is the final resting place for those who thought they had escaped, only to find themselves drawn back. The grave that sits untouched may seem like the end of a story, but it is merely the beginning of another. The earth here stirs with the restless, the forgotten. And though the names are erased, the spirits never truly leave. They are waiting for someone to join them in the dirt. Mirrors in Marlow Mansion are not simply reflective surfaces. They are gateways, portals to a world that mirrors our own, but twisted, distorted. Here the reflection is not who you are, but who you could have been. The mirror in this room holds the faces of those who once lived in these walls, but their souls are trapped, bound to the glass, forever searching for a way back to the living world. And if you look too long, if you stare too deeply, the reflection may begin to look back at you. And then, you will be the one trapped. The courtyard of Marlow Mansion was once a place of tranquility, a garden where the wealthy could enjoy the beauty of nature. But now it is just another forgotten corner of a house that has fallen into ruin. The statues that once stood tall now lie broken, victims of time and neglect. And that door at the end? It is not an exit, it is a threshold. The mansion pulls you deeper with every step, until you forget where the mansion ends and where you begin. To leave the courtyard is to enter the labyrinth. Once you step inside, there is no going back. The foyer of Marlow Mansion was designed to impress, a grand entrance to a home that was both a sanctuary and a prison. Now the stairs creak with the weight of memories long past, and the walls are suffocating under the pressure of forgotten souls. Every step you take in this hall, every breath you draw is a reminder that the mansion does not welcome you. It tolerates you, watching, waiting for you to slip, for you to make the mistake that will bind you here forever. There is no escape from its gaze, no way to outrun its reach. The hallway of Marlow Mansion was once a pathway to comfort, a place where family and guests moved through with ease. But now it is a corridor of hesitation and dread. The peeling wallpaper whispers forgotten secrets, and the door at the end beckons with promises of revelations that no one should ever seek. The light that flickers beyond the threshold is not a guide, but a lure, one that pulls the unsuspecting into its trap. To enter that room is to face the mansion's darkest truths, and once you step inside, the door will close behind you, forever. The attic of Marlow Mansion is a place where the past lingers like an old ghost, a room filled with remnants of lives lived and lost. The items here tell stories of those who once walked these halls, people whose names have been forgotten, their memories fading into dust. But some things do not fade. The rocking chair, the empty bottle, the broken frames, they are all connected, caught in a web spun by time and fate. The attic is a prison for memories, a place where the past refuses to die. And the longer you stay, the more it pulls you in, until you become just another forgotten piece of the mansion's history. Once, the ballroom was the heart of the mansion, a place of celebration and festivity. Now, it is nothing more than a mausoleum for empty promises and broken dreams. The chairs are set, the table prepared, but no one arrives. The mansion itself is the only guest here, and it waits patiently for new souls to enter its doors. The air is thick with the weight of those who came before, their laughter long silenced, their stories lost in time. And that door? It is not a way out. It is simply another passage deeper into the mansion's endless labyrinth, where the only music is the ticking of time and the only dance is a waltz with death. The mansion is not just a structure of brick and mortar. It is a living thing, a presence that consumes everything it touches. The ivy that covers its walls is not just plant life, but a part of the mansion itself, an extension of its power, feeding off the land, spreading its reach. The tree in the yard is not natural. It is a monument to the mansion's greed, its hunger, and the fog that rises from the ground. It is the mansion calling, inviting you back into its embrace, where time and space no longer matter, and the world outside fades away. Marlow Mansion waits, always. The wine cellar of Marlow Mansion is where the mansion's thirst was once quenched, but now it is a place of corruption and decay. The bottles that once held fine wines are gone, emptied not by time but by something darker. The cellar is thirsty, but it does not hunger for drink. It craves something far more precious. It is here that the mansion's true nature reveals itself. Its desire for more than just blood, but for souls, for lives to drain, to turn everything to dust. And when the candle flickers and the shadows grow long, it is calling to you. The library was once the heart of knowledge, a sanctuary where the curious could learn the truths of the world. But now it is a mausoleum of lost wisdom, where the words on the pages are not meant to be read, but to be forgotten. The lantern's flickering light casts long shadows, each one a reminder of those who sought knowledge here and never left. The portraits on the walls are not just pictures, they are guardians, watching over the secrets that should remain hidden. But the house is calling, and those who remain here are never truly free. The spiral staircase descends not into the depths of the mansion's foundation, but into its very soul. Each step is a journey deeper into the house's heart, and with each turn, the mansion grows darker, hungrier. The laughter you hear is not of joy, but of a past that cannot be erased, a memory that has haunted these walls for too long. It is the sound of the children who once played here, souls trapped in time, forever chasing what they can never have. The mansion does not forget, and it does not forgive. The study was once a place of reflection, where decisions were made and plans were crafted. Now it is a room frozen in time, a place where the past refuses to let go. The fire crackles, but its warmth is gone, its heat replaced by an unnatural chill that lingers in the bones. The clock that stands in the corner ticks with the urgency of something that cannot be contained. Time here does not move forward. It loops, repeating itself in an endless cycle of regrets and lost chances. And each tick of the clock is a countdown to something darker. This room was never meant to be found. It was sealed long ago, hidden beneath layers of earth and stone, a place where the mansion's true power resides. The symbols on the walls are not mere decoration. They are the language of the ancient ones, the forgotten gods that the mansion has long been bound to. The altar in the center is not a place of sacrifice, but of binding, where the mansion's soul was forged. And the candles that once burned brightly now flicker with an unnatural light, for the energy that courses through this room is not of the living. It is something older, something darker, waiting for the right moment to awaken once more. The front doors of Marlow Mansion are not just an entrance. They are a threshold, a barrier between the mansion and the world outside. The doors should never be opened, for they are the mouth of the house, a gateway that leads to an abyss where time and space no longer exist. The darkness beyond is not just the absence of light. It is the embodiment of everything the mansion has consumed. To leave is to step into that void where there is no escape, no return. And once you cross the threshold, the mansion will follow. The dining room of Marlow Mansion is a place where many have gathered, but none have ever truly dined. The table is set, but the meal is never served. The chandelier above flickers, its light dimming as though tired of illuminating a room filled with only shadows. The bell once used to call the servants now rings only in the dead of night, its sound a reminder that someone, something, still watches. In this room, the guests never leave, and the mansion's appetite grows with every passing second. The greenhouse of Marlow Mansion was a place of growth, of life, once. But now it is a jungle of decay, a prison where the plants are no longer tame but wild, their roots twisted and pulling at the earth like hands that seek to escape. The broken glass offers no protection from the vines that crawl across the floor, and the air here is heavy with rot. There are things in this garden that were never meant to grow, things that lurk beneath the soil, their hunger insatiable, and the vines that crawl through the walls are only the beginning. The servants' quarters were once places of rest, where those who served the mansion could sleep in relative peace. Now they are no more than prisons, small, suffocating spaces where the weight of the mansion's secrets presses down on every surface. The candle's flicker is weak, and the rooms feel too quiet, as though the spirits of those who worked here still linger, trapped by the mansion's dark will. The wardrobe that stands open is not an invitation to enter. It is a warning, a door to something that will never let you go. The music room was a place where melodies once flowed like rivers, where the notes seemed to speak of joy and love. But now the silence is deafening, broken only by the faintest whisper of something that should not be. The piano's keys, now cracked and worn, no longer sing, though they long to. The violin strings have snapped, not by accident, but by force. The portraits on the walls no longer look to admire, but to judge, to condemn. The wind outside is not a natural sound. It is the echo of the mansion's song, warped and twisted into something far darker than music. The master bedroom of Marlow Mansion is a room frozen in time, preserved as though waiting for its occupant to return. But that occupant is gone, lost, perhaps, to the mansion's endless hunger. The bed is made, but it is empty. The fireplace, cold, offers no warmth, no comfort. The wardrobe in the corner, though closed, beckons. It promises something, but it is not something anyone should seek. The curtains drawn tight against the light are not just a shield from the outside world. They are the mansion's way of trapping its victims, keeping them within its grasp, as if they were always meant to be here. The grand staircase of Marlow Mansion is not just a means of ascent. It is a test, a challenge that each person must face before they can truly understand the house's power. The steps creak underfoot, not from age, but from something heavier, something that watches. The broken chandelier above casts its fractured light on the path ahead, illuminating what is not there. The door at the top of the stairs beckons, but not as an invitation. It is a promise, a dark one, that once you pass through, you will never return. The back door to Marlow Mansion is not a path to freedom. It is an entry to its final trap. The garden that once bloomed with life has now been overtaken by wild, uncontrollable growth. The gate is rusted shut, and the vines that climb the walls are not simply plants. They are the mansion's reach, extending beyond its confines. The pond, though still, is alive with movement, though what stirs beneath the surface is not meant to be seen. The garden no longer grows. It feeds. And the wind that carries the whispers of forgotten souls speaks not to those who walk away, but to those who have already been claimed. The courtyard of Marlow Mansion is the final resting place of all that was once beautiful, a place where the mansion's influence has smothered any trace of life. The statues that once adorned the garden are now broken, their beauty marred by time, and yet their eyes still hold a gaze that sees everything. The well in the corner, long abandoned, is a symbol of the mansion's thirst, its endless hunger that cannot be quenched, not by time nor by death. The courtyard may seem like a peaceful retreat, but beneath its beauty lies a dark truth. No one is ever truly free from its grasp. The attic of Marlow Mansion is a place where memories go to die. The trunks are filled with relics of a past long forgotten, the heirlooms now lost to time. But it is the mirror that holds the mansion's true secret. Dust covers its surface, yes, but not enough to hide the shadows that move within it. The reflection is not merely a reflection, it is a doorway to something else, something darker. The attic may be forgotten by the living, but the mansion remembers, and in its silence, it watches. The fireplace once brought warmth to the mansion, a gathering place for families, friends, and guests. But now it is just another empty feature of a house that no longer cares. The hearth is cold, and the chimney, clogged with years of soot, speaks of a time when the fire was no longer needed. The painting above the mantel tells the story of a family that is no longer whole. Their faces, torn and erased, are the final testament to the mansion's power to strip away everything that once was. In this house, no one is truly safe, not even in the comforts of a hearth. The basement of Marlow Mansion is where the house hides its darkest secrets. It is a place that has been forgotten, but that does not mean it is empty. The growl that echoes from behind the rusted iron door is not an animal. No, it is something far worse. Something that has been imprisoned here for far too long. The barrels and crates hold nothing of value, for they are mere distractions. The true horror lies beyond that door, where whatever lurks in the dark waits, hungry and patient, for the next soul to wander too close. The grand hall of Marlow Mansion is the heart of the house, and like all hearts, it beats with the energy of everything that has passed through it. But that heartbeat is slow now, faint, as the mansion grows weaker with each passing day. The tapestries on the walls tell stories of a time long past, but they are no longer vivid, only shadows remain. The chandelier, once the pride of the room, now lies in ruins as the house's splendor fades away piece by piece. The door to the forgotten wing is a reminder that there is always more that remains hidden, more that must never be known. The storm outside is nothing compared to the tempest within Marlow Mansion. The wind may howl and the thunder may roar, but the real storm is hidden in the very bones of this house. The candle's flicker is weak, as though even light is reluctant to stay here. And the shadow that moves at the edge of your vision is not just a trick of the light. It is the house's way of reminding you that it is always watching. The mansion does not rest. It waits. Time in Marlow Mansion has no meaning. The grandfather clock stands as a monument to this timelessness, its pendulum swinging in a rhythm that echoes with the house's heartbeat. The cracked face and stopped hands are not accidents. They are the result of something far darker. The mirrors lining the walls do not reflect what is before them. They reflect the mansion itself. And in those reflections, you will see not only the house, but the ghosts of its past, all trapped in a never-ending cycle. The west wing of Marlow Mansion is a place that should never be entered. The door that stands at the end of the hall is not merely a barrier, it is a warning. The whispers that come from behind it are not meant to comfort. They are meant to lure you in, to convince you that what lies behind that door is something worth seeing. But whatever it is better left unseen. The mansion holds many secrets, but this room holds the most dangerous of them all. The library of Marlow Mansion is not a place for knowledge. It is a place for entrapment. The books on the shelves are not meant to be read. They are meant to be felt, to be absorbed. The chair by the desk is waiting for someone, but it is not meant to be sat upon. The light that shines through the windows is not from the outside world. It is a manifestation of the mansion's will, a force that keeps you from ever leaving. The library does not teach. It devours. The hallways of Marlow Mansion are not meant to be traveled. They are meant to trap. Each step you take leads you deeper into the house, and with each turn, the walls seem to close in, trapping you in a maze that never ends. The door at the end of the hall is not a way out. It is a barrier, a final test before the mansion claims you. The scratches on the door are not from the outside. They are from those who have tried to leave and failed. Marlow Mansion does not let go. Not easily, not ever. The corridor that leads deeper into the mansion is a pathway of no return. The portraits on the walls are not simply images. They are the souls of those who have lived here, trapped in the frames, unable to move on. Their eyes follow you, judgmental and accusatory. The wind that blows through the broken window is the mansion's breath, cold and unnatural, as if it is trying to freeze you in place. to keep you from moving forward or escaping. This room was once used for rituals, dark, forbidden rituals. The rocking chair, still moving on its own, is a testament to the spirits that have been summoned here, and the symbols on the walls are not simply drawings. They are seals meant to bind something far older, far darker than any of us can understand. The incense that fills the air is no longer a fragrant scent. It is a signal, a call to something that slumbers beneath the house. The whispers you hear are not your imagination. They are the voices of those who have come before you, trying to warn you, trying to reach out from beyond the veil. The library, once a place of knowledge and wisdom, has now become a place of confusion and madness. The books on the shelves are no longer just records of the past. They are conduits to other worlds, other times, where things far beyond human understanding lie in wait. The book on the table is open, and its pages turn, as if being read by a hand unseen, a hand that belongs not to the living, but to the mansion itself. The mirrors reflect more than what is. They reflect what was, and what will be if you stay too long. The grand staircase of Marlow Mansion is no longer a path to the upper floors. It is a trap, a test of resolve. The missing steps are not just a sign of neglect. They are meant to keep you from going forward. The portraits on the walls no longer celebrate those who lived here. They warn of the curse that binds them to this place. The shattered chandeliers are a metaphor for the mansion itself. Once magnificent, now broken, yet still full of unseen power that refuses to die. The east wing of Marlow Mansion is the heart of its darkness. It is a maze not of walls, but of time and space, where the very fabric of reality seems to bend and warp. The doors are all open, but they do not invite you in. They lure you, promising something just beyond reach. The flickering light is an illusion, a fleeting hope, but the figure in the shadows is not. It is real, and it is waiting, just as the mansion itself waits for the next soul to wander too far. The kitchen of Marlow Mansion should be filled with the smells of food, the warmth of hearth and home, but instead it is empty, haunted by the memories of meals that were never eaten. The stove is cold, the oven door left ajar, as though someone had been interrupted in the middle of their work. The cabinet doors open and close on their own, as if the house itself is rummaging through its past, looking for something it has lost. The hum of the refrigerator is the only sound in the silence, an eerie mechanical pulse that reminds you that in this house, nothing is ever truly still. The cellar of Marlow Mansion is not just a storage space, it is a tomb. The dampness in the air is the breath of the house, stagnant and decaying. The crates and barrels are filled with forgotten things, their contents now useless, lost to time. The water dripping in the darkness is a reminder that the mansion is alive, feeding, waiting for the next soul to enter its depths. The flickering light above is the only thing standing between you and the darkness that stretches out before you. The nursery of Marlow Mansion holds a secret, one that should never have been hidden. The crib sits empty, but it was not always so. The mobile above turns, though there is no reason for it to move. The childish drawings on the walls are not just decorations. They are memories of a time when innocence still lingered in these halls. But the lullaby, faint and distant, speaks of something else. It is not a song of comfort, but a warning. The nursery was once a place of joy. Now it is a place of sorrow. The grand dining room of Marlow Mansion is a place where time stands still. The table is set, but the meal is long gone. The silverware shines, yet no one is here to use it. The chandelier above is beautiful, but it casts no light, only shadows. The chair at the end of the table, pulled back slightly, speaks of someone who was once here, someone who never left. The mansion's hunger is never sated, not even by a feast. The clock tower of Marlow Mansion is a symbol of the house's eternal cycle, a cycle that has no end. The hands of the clock are frozen at midnight, as though the house itself is caught in an endless loop, unable to escape. The bell, once so loud, is now silent, its echoes forever lost. The tower creaks in the wind, a warning to anyone who dares to venture near. The broken window at the top is an invitation, not to escape, but to enter, to understand what it means to be trapped by time itself. This is the heart of Marlow Mansion's mysteries, the library where all the knowledge of the house has been bound. The books may look worn, but they are far older than any written text, filled with forgotten lore and cursed secrets. The open book on the desk calls to you, its pages alive with symbols that seem to shift and move when you aren't looking. The darkness in this room isn't just the absence of light, it is the presence of something far more dangerous, something that has been waiting to be awakened for centuries. The master bedroom was once a place of rest, a sanctuary from the horrors of the world, but now it is a place of dread. The bed lies untouched, a reminder of those who once slept here, now gone or trapped within the walls of this house. The broken mirror distorts the room, twisting the reflection of reality until nothing seems certain. The closet door, slightly open, beckons, promising that there is something or someone inside. The footsteps you hear are not your own. They belong to the past, or perhaps to something far darker. The attic is where the mansion's forgotten memories are kept, a place where the past is sealed away, yet never truly disappears. The dust that covers the furniture is not just from age. It is the residue of years, of lives lived and lost. The trunk at the center of the room is a vessel of secrets, but it is not to be opened. Some things once revealed can never be forgotten, and in this place some things should never be uncovered. The darkness inside is not just a lack of light, it is the absence of hope. The garden was once a place of beauty, a sanctuary from the house's oppressive gloom, but now it is a graveyard for the mansion's lost hope. The fountain, once flowing with water, now sits dry, a reminder of life that has long since drained away. The twisted trees and overgrown plants are a reflection of the mansion itself, decaying but stubbornly holding on. The shadow that moves at the corner of your vision is not an illusion. It is the garden's way of keeping you trapped within its confines, forever lost among the dead leaves and broken stone. The basement is the true foundation of Marlow Mansion, and like any foundation, it holds the weight of everything above it. The water that floods this place is not just a result of decay. It is a symbol of the mansion's suffocating grip, pulling everything into its depths. The sound of movement beneath the floor is not the house settling. It is something older, something that has been waiting, growing, hidden beneath the surface. This is the place where the mansion's darkest secrets are buried, and once you enter, you may never leave. The drawing room was once a place of conversation and quiet reflection, but now it is a place of lingering spirits and restless memories. The furniture, though aged, seems to be waiting for someone to sit down, to join the gathering that no longer exists. The whisper that fills the air is not a voice, but a presence, an uninvited guest who lingers in the room, unwilling to leave, unwilling to be forgotten. The ballroom, once a place of elegance and grandeur, is now a hollow shell of its former self. The dust that covers the floor is not just the passing of time. It is the result of something far more sinister, something that has erased all the light, all the joy that once filled this space. The broken chandelier that hangs above is a reminder of what the mansion once was, and what it is now, a place of ruin. The mirrors no longer reflect beauty. They reflect only what has been lost. The front entrance of Marlow Mansion is a gateway, not just into the house, but into the madness that lies within. The ivy that crawls up the door is not simply a decoration. It is a symbol of the mansion's desire to reclaim all who enter, to make them part of its history. The doors may swing open, but they are not inviting. They are simply waiting for you to step through, to become part of the house's endless story. This hallway is a labyrinth, and like the mansion itself, it holds no clear path, no direction. The doors that line the walls open only to darkness, and the corridors that seem to promise an exit only lead deeper into the house's belly. The peeling wallpaper is a metaphor. What you see on the surface is not the whole story. Beneath the facade lies something far more twisted, something that waits patiently for you to lose yourself in its maze. The parlor of Marlow Mansion is the house's heart, the place where the spirits of the past still linger. The grand piano, once played by elegant fingers, now sits in silence, its music lost to time. The tapestries that cover the walls are no longer vibrant. They are the remnants of lives once lived, now fading away. The hum that fills the room is not a song, but the mansion's lullaby, calling you to stay, to become a part of its story. Beneath the house lies a secret library, forgotten by time but not by the mansion itself. These books are not meant to be read. These are the forbidden texts, the kind that hold power over the living and the dead. The candle flickers, not from the wind, but from the energy that pulses through this place, drawing you closer to the darkness that waits within these pages. The whispers you hear are not in your mind. They are the voices of those who have come before, those who have dared to open these books and were never heard from again. The courtyard, once a beautiful garden, has now become a place of imprisonment. The fountain that once held clear water is now a cesspool, the weeds choking out all signs of life. The gate, though open, leads nowhere but into the abyss. The footsteps you hear are not the sounds of life. They are the echoes of those who have tried to leave and failed. This courtyard is a prison, and the gate is merely a trap, meant to lure you in and keep you forever bound to this cursed place. The staircase is more than just a path to another floor. It is a journey into the unknown, a descent into madness. Each creak of the stairs is a reminder that the mansion itself is alive, watching, waiting for you to reach the top. The door at the end of the stairs is a barrier, a point of no return. The wood splinters, not from age, but from something inside, desperate to be free. This house will not let you go. It will drag you up, and once you reach that door, you will be trapped forever. The drawing room was once a place of beauty, of celebration, but now it is a place of decay. The shattered glass from the chandeliers, like the house itself, broken but still dangerous. The curtains, torn and fluttering, seem to beckon you to the window, as if showing you a world that you can no longer reach. The chair at the center of the room is not empty. It is occupied by something unseen, something that waits for you to sit down, to join the madness that has overtaken this house. The cellar is the very soul of the mansion, hidden away from the light and sealed off from the world. The smell of decay fills the air, not just from the jars on the shelves, but from the house itself. The flickering light above offers no comfort. It only highlights the suffocating presence that surrounds you. The walls feel as though they are closing in, as though they are trying to keep you from escaping, to trap you here forever with the ghosts of those who have disappeared before you. The nursery of Marlow Mansion is not a place for children. It is a place for lost souls. The broken toys, abandoned and forgotten, are relics of a time when joy and innocence were still possible. The rocking chair creaks on its own, as if gently rocking something unseen, something lost. The lullaby that plays in the silence is not one of comfort. It is a haunting, an invitation to remain, to stay and become a part of the mansion's twisted legacy. The grand dining room is a place where the past lingers, where the remnants of those who dined here still echo through the empty space. The table, set for an event that never comes, remains untouched. The silverware shines, but no hands are there to grasp it. The chandelier above, once a symbol of wealth, now hangs like a dark omen, its crystals reflecting only the emptiness below. This room is no longer a place for feasts. It is a place for ghosts, for the lost souls who can never leave. The hallway is a passageway, not just through the house, but through time itself. The portraits on the walls, their eyes locked onto you, are not just memories, they are warnings. Each creak of the floor beneath your feet is a reminder that you are not alone in this place. The door at the end of the hall is a threshold, a point where the mansion's secrets begin to reveal themselves. But step through and you may find that the door leads only to more questions, more shadows, more darkness. The Tower of Marlow Mansion is more than just a structure. It is a sentinel, watching over everything and everyone who enters. The broken window overlooks the grounds below, but it offers no comfort. The fog that surrounds the house is not natural. It is the mansion's breath, reaching out to consume all in its path. The shadow you saw is not your imagination. It is the tower's way of keeping watch, keeping you in its grip, keeping you from escaping. The study is the mind of the mansion, a place where knowledge and madness collide. The papers on the desk are more than just documents. They are clues, fragments of a puzzle that has been unsolved for centuries. The maps on the walls are not meant to guide you. They are meant to confuse you, to lead you in circles until you no longer know what is real. The lamp casts its glow, but it only highlights the darkness that remains, the knowledge that has been buried here, waiting to consume you. The garden once stood as a symbol of life and beauty, but now it is a place of decay, where nature itself has turned against the mansion. The stone path, once carefully laid, is now lost beneath the weight of time and neglect, leading nowhere. The statue at the center, its face eroded by years of exposure, stares at you with a vacant gaze, as if judging your every step. The vines that have overtaken the garden are not just plants. They are tendrils of the house itself, reaching out to ensnare anyone foolish enough to wander too far. There is no escape in this place, no freedom. The mansion has claimed everything, and now it is turning the garden into its own prison. The Great Hall is a monument to the mansion's grandeur, a place that once welcomed guests with open arms. Now it is an empty shell, its beauty faded, its silence oppressive. The dust that coats the floor is a sign of the house's abandonment, its refusal to let go of the past. The chandelier above, once a source of light, now casts nothing but shadows, as though the house itself is afraid of what it might reveal. The staircase, too, is a reminder of what was lost. The broken steps are not just signs of wear. They are obstacles, traps designed to keep you from climbing higher, from uncovering the mansion's darkest secrets. The noise from the walls is not a mere sound. It is a plea for help from something trapped within, something that was never meant to be freed. The parlor of Marlow Mansion was once a place where the house's residents could relax, converse, and enjoy the finer things in life. Now it is a room trapped in time, where the remnants of elegance have decayed into ruin. The cobwebs that fill the room are not just signs of neglect. They are the webs of the mansion itself, wrapping everything in its grasp, suffocating all life that once existed here. The paintings on the walls are no longer portraits. They are warnings, glimpses of what happens when you become too comfortable in the house's grip. And the piano, once a source of music and joy, is now an instrument of sorrow, its notes distorted and broken, much like the mansion itself. The servant quarters of Marlow Mansion are where the house's true secrets are kept, hidden away from the eyes of the wealthy and the privileged. The walls are lined with the ghosts of those who worked here, their lives forgotten by the family they served, their fates sealed by the mansion's hunger. The rooms may seem ordinary, but they are anything but. Every corner holds a secret, every object a story that the house refuses to tell. The footsteps that echo through the hallways are not those of the living. They are the memories of those who were never allowed to leave, whose souls are now part of the mansion's eternal collection. The dining hall of Marlow Mansion is where the house's hunger is most apparent. The tables are set, the silverware gleams, but no one is here to dine. The house's appetite is insatiable, and it feeds not on food but on fear, on memories, on the souls of those who wander too close. The chandelier above rattles not because of the wind, but because it feels the weight of the room's emptiness. It knows that one day the table will be filled again. But with what? The house's hunger will never be satisfied, and those who sit here may find themselves consumed, body and soul. The study of Marlow Mansion is where knowledge was once kept, but knowledge here is dangerous, corrupted by the mansion's own will. The maps and artifacts that line the walls are not just relics, they are keys, maps to places that exist beyond this world, beyond time itself. The desk, though cluttered, holds secrets that no one should ever uncover. And the globe in the corner? It is not just a tool for navigation. It is a doorway, a way to travel to places that are better left unexplored. The mansion has kept these secrets for centuries, and once you touch them, they will keep you here, lost in the labyrinth of their mysteries. The rooftop of Marlow Mansion is the highest point of the house, a place where you can see everything, but see nothing clearly. The landscape beyond is distorted, as though the mansion itself has warped your perception of reality. The wind that howls around you is not just the force of nature, it is the house's voice, its breath, as it reaches out to claim everything it touches. The shadow that passed by you is not a trick of the light. It is the mansion's watchful eye, always observing, never allowing you to escape. The rooftop offers no freedom. It is the final stage of the house's trap, and once you're up here, you are already lost. The entrance hall is where it all begins, and where it ends. The doorway before you is not just an exit, it is a passage, a threshold between this world and the next. The humming sound that fills the air is not music, but the mansion's call, a lure to draw you closer to the unknown. The void beyond the door is not a void. It is the end of the journey, the place where the house consumes everything that enters. The door may be ajar, but it is no invitation. It is a warning, a final test to see if you will step into the darkness or turn back. Marlow Mansion is no longer just a house. It has become a living being, a force that exists beyond the physical realm. The foundation itself groans and shifts, as if the house is reacting to your presence, drawing closer, trapping you. The walls ripple like water, as though they are alive, responding to your every thought. The storm outside is not natural. It is the manifestation of the mansion. The storm rages outside, but within Marlow Mansion, the true storm is one that has been brewing for centuries. This place has always been more than just bricks and mortar. It is alive, a force that exists beyond the understanding of those who walk its halls. The doors that were once open are now closed, but it is not you who chose to shut them. The mansion has sealed itself off, trapping you within. Every flicker of light from the windows, every shadow that moves across the walls, is a reminder that something unseen is watching, waiting. The mansion has fed on the fear, the desperation, the memories of those who have entered before you. It has become a living, breathing entity, and now it calls for you. There is no escape. Marlow Mansion has claimed its final soul. And with that, the unseen hands of Marlow Mansion reaches its chilling conclusion. The mansion, now fully alive, has drawn all its guests into its web, ensuring that no one ever leaves its cursed halls. This story has been a journey into the heart of a dark, haunted place, a story of mystery, fear, and the unseen forces that shape our fate. The mansion, with all its eerie rooms, forgotten corners, and hidden secrets, has become a symbol of the unknowable horrors that lurk in the shadows, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander into its grip. I hope this story fits the chilling atmosphere you were seeking.